Hello, this is Dr. Robbie Raw coming to you from far north Queensland in the wilds of northern Australia. It's not exactly crocodile country right here because we're a little bit inland, but there's plenty of crocs on the coast and all other beautiful native and tropical species that are found here in northern Australia, such as the taipan, which is the second most deadly snake in the world. And we've actually got the most venomous creature in the world living in our waters off the coast here. It's called the Chironex fleckeri, or box jellyfish. Just one little sting from that, and man, no matter whether you're a raw fooder or whether you're a cooked food eater, I'm afraid you're history. But anyway, talking about things which are going to keep us alive, that's what we want to know. And I've got a little known health secret here for you. It's basically how you can save money and how you can increase your longevity and your health, probably 10-15% if you do it throughout your lifetime, and that's probably a conservative estimate. And the way to do it is gradually bring back the time of your last meal, okay? Maybe you're used to eating at about 7 o'clock at night, your last meal before you go to bed. Gradually bring that back to 6 o'clock over a period of a couple of months. Then keep on coming until you're getting back to 5 o'clock. Last meal at 5 o'clock in the day. And still eating the same raw food type of diet as you've been used to, because raw foods are the answer. If you're eating cooked foods, you're eating toxin-laden foods, you're eating foods that the protein has been deaminated and it's no longer able to be used by your body. Whereas if you're eating raw foods, you're able to utilize so much more better the protein in the food, even though you might think it's only 5% or 3 or 4% protein. That's not going to be enough to keep you going, you might say, but it is, because it's available protein. The same with the fats in the food. Even watermelon has fat in it. So don't be too concerned about where you're going to get your protein and your fat from if you're getting on a raw food type of diet, because you're actually, by eating in the manner I've just described to you, whereby your last meal gradually comes back towards mid-afternoon, and then, say, ultimately, if you can eat, say, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, last meal, that means you're going to be fasting for 16, 18 hours a day, which is going to allow your elimination organs so much more length of time to function more efficiently and eliminate toxins from your body. Because, after all, life is a balance between what you assimilate and what you eliminate. And if you can get that into balance, then you'll have a far healthier body, you'll have a clearer mind, you'll be able to become more spiritually aware, to be able to appreciate beautiful things in nature as running water, sunlight, pure air. All these commodities are gradually becoming so much harder to introduce into our life these days because of population pressures, because of pollution, because of cutting down of the rainforest. The man is getting away from what actually nurtured him back in the past. We evolved in the tropical rainforest, a biochemically rich environment where we were getting our nutrients from the sex organ of plants, which is fruit. And if you'll ever read a book by Dr. Tony Wright, Left in the Dark, it explains to you the biochemical mix that we once were able to become exposed to through thousands and hundreds of thousands of years in the tropical rainforest. But since we've moved away from there, our brains have actually, in the last 200,000 years, actually started to become more dysfunctional. And there's actually been a slight shrinkage occurring in the brain size. There was a huge increase in brain size when we were exposed to that beautiful biochemical mix that we were exposed to in the tropical rainforests. So if we can gradually introduce that back into our mode of living by eating a diet that consists of 80 to 100% raw. If you've got any pre-existing diseases, you'll really have to go 100% raw if you want to get a reversal of those conditions. It's no use mucking around and just thinking they're going to do it by doing 80% raw. You won't. You'll only do it by going 100% raw. So I'm telling you, the best little tip that I can pass on to you now is gradually introduce into your lifestyle the last meal of the day, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Then after doing that for 3 to 4 months, gradually come back to 4:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then eventually getting to 3 and eventually to 2 o'clock, depending on how far you can feel as though it can fit into your lifestyle. It fits into my lifestyle very easily because I have an evening clinic that I see patients, and I don't feel like eating after seeing patients at about 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. My body's ready not to put a big meal into my stomach then, but it's gradually ready to unwind. So that's what you should do. Last meal of the day, after a period of time, eventually getting your body used to eating late afternoon, then gradually mid-afternoon, and then gradually early afternoon. After many, many years of doing the no breakfast plan, I reached a certain health plateau where I felt as though I wasn't getting particularly good results from doing the no breakfast plan after many, many years, maybe 20 years. I didn't eat before noon. But the meridians and the natural cycles of my body were saying I'm at my most efficient for digesting and assimilating food from 10 o'clock in the morning until about 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when my liver and digestive tract and my pancreas are at their highest peak of efficiency. So the idea is to tune into that efficiency by eating at that time of the day rather than in the evening when those organs that I've just mentioned are ready to rest and shut down. And if you go and load food onto them at that time of the day, it's not quite as good for your overall health index. So if you can take that little tip on board, it'll save you much money, and it'll save you much problems later on in life when you get to my age of 70 years old. So these little things you do pick up after a little while, and I'm glad to be able to impart these little things on to everyone that might want to listen. And thanks for listening. It's been nice sharing this little experience with you here in tropical Queensland, far northern Australia, the site of some of my upcoming retreats in 2014. Just go to my website, www.sunfoodhealthretreat, and you'll get details of the retreats that are coming up in the future. Okay, nice talking to you. Au revoir. Okay.